What is up, guys? Overslept Kackis here. Thank you so much for stopping by. And today, a brand new trailer just dropped for the upcoming Shadowkeep expansion during the Gamescom event. It's actually a pretty long trailer, showed off a bunch of brand new, never before seen gameplay. We're gonna break that trailer down. There's a bunch of interesting stuff, including brand new exotics coming in Shadowkeep, new strikes, activities, story info, etc. So let's get started. Now, in previous trailers, we have seen these floating shadowy figures. It's been very creepy, but in this trailer, we get our closest look at them ever with this shot here. And I think it's pretty obvious from this shot that these floating figures are indeed guardians. In fact, just from the look of these shadows, you can kind of see different classes. At least I see a hunter off to the left, and in the foreground we have a couple of titans. So that's kind of putting the lid on a mystery there about what those are. It does seem like dead guardians, which is about as creepy as you can get. Alright, moving on from there. We do see what appears to be a member of the new kind of shadow enemy type, and this is a big fallen enemy. Now this guy, I believe, is Tannix, and this is because the background looks to be a fallen ship. In fact, you actually kind of see the insignia, the House of Wolves insignia in the background right here. So that indicates that this is from the Shadow Thief Strike from Destiny 1, where you fought the normal version of Tannix. Now, will we get that strike returning as an actual new strike, or are the areas of that strike just in the game? Is this part of the campaign? I don't exactly know, but that's interesting. Next, we have a Titan outfitted in what appears to be Warmind armor for some reason. He's using an SMG, and on his back, that's what interests me. What the heck is that? At first, I thought, oh, that's a sword. The top looks like kind of a sword hilt, but the bottom does not. That looks like an ice pick? Maybe this is a bow on his back, but even then, that does not, to me, look like any bow I know of currently, so we could potentially be seeing something new just on his back here. We then see one of the sick new finishing moves, and then moving on, we see another Titan run by, and then we see a Warlock in the background. Now, the Warlock is the interesting part. He's wielding an exotic rocket launcher. You can see right here, this thing obviously looks very different than your normal legendary grenade launcher. As you can see, void energy is kind of almost coming out of this weapon. It's kind of cracked, and in the seams you can see the glow of void. And guess what? We actually saw this exotic shortly before being used in first person, and here it is. So we get a third person look at this brand new exotic rocket launcher, and we appear to see it being fired. In fact, when it hits the enemy, it actually looks to cause a Cataclysm Nova Bomb style of effect, and then the extra void balls loop around and hit the enemy. So I speculated the first time, could this be basically a Nova Bomb in a weapon? It kind of looks like it. Now the next scene, oh my goodness, we got a lot going on here. So, in the very back we have a Warlock jumping using a new trace rifle that's likely the exotic trace rifle that we got a little bit of a look at with previous trailers and Vidocs. Then in the middle we have a Titan using a finishing move. Now on his back, as you can see, he's got these two like spikes coming out. Now that to me screams an exotic armor piece, but unfortunately it just looks like an exotic armor piece. You can't really tell what exactly it's doing. Then in the foreground, we have a hunter sliding with what appears to be an auto rifle. In fact, it looks like one of the new legendary auto rifles from this DLC, and decked out in a pretty sweet set of armor. The hunter does have a very unique crest on his head. Now maybe that signals that he's using some kind of exotic helmet, but hard to tell. Now, very next scene, we have a Warlock in the foreground using a massive, thick bow. This is probably the exotic heavy bow that they talked about in the Vidoc, and we have a Titan slightly behind it looking what appears to be the special ammo using exotic hand cannon. Now, kind of hard to tell, and you don't really get to see them really in action. But something a lot more clear is the hunter it zooms in on. That guy is definitely using the Monte Carlo exotic auto rifle returning from Destiny 1. We've seen this several times during trailers. It's 100% confirmed to be returning. For those of you who weren't around in the D1 days, this exotic auto rifle significantly increases the recharge of your melees. And in fact, you had the chance upon getting a kill with it to instantly regenerate your melee abilities. So melee builds were based off this gun. It was very powerful. Then we see some returning baddies. We have Crota, Gaul, and then this ogre. Now, this ogre, especially specifically from this shot here, appears to be the boss ogre in the Summoning Pits strike from Destiny 1. The same question remains. Is this a returning strike or simply returning areas from this D1 strike? Then we have a very close-up shot of what appears to be a brand new Hunter exotic helmet right here. Now, we actually kind of saw a preview of this in one of the TWAB pictures, the This Week at Bungie updates, and we can see the same exotic helmet off to the side. Now, that's, I think, Bungie just showing off, giving us a little teaser. I tweeted it out, and no one really recognized it. The closest we came to was like an exotic ornament for the one-eyed mask or something, but that was pretty clearly a Hunter. It's doing a Hunter attack, actually, with double blades. Then we actually have something pretty neat. We've seen the Titan finishing move again and again where they look at their hand and then punch the enemy, but this time we see a brand new finishing move. The Titan does a spinning like roundhouse back kick to this ogre, so that's really cool, showing off the different variety. We do know there's going to be more than one finishing move, and that the cosmetic of the finishing move is going to not really affect the damage or anything like that. In fact, you can put mods on your finishing move to give certain advantages for executing one, so that's just a look at what some of the different finishing moves can be. Next up, we have some play with a brand new exotic machine gun coming with Shadowkeep. Bungie actually showed this off at GuardianCon, and here's some images of it. It actually has this weird bug thing inside of it that's kind of powering it, making it exotic, so we see that being shot a few times. And in the next scene, we see another exotic being shot. This again appears to be that exotic trace rifle we've already seen, but on the back, remember that weird pickaxe thing? I was like, what the heck is that? There it is again. And okay, so this warlock is clearly using an exotic trace rifle. So the pickaxe thing is a legendary, it's gotta be. So it appears to be a sword, just a really weird shaped sword. Maybe this is like a bludgeon or something. The crazy thing, and I don't want to speculate too hard on this, but we have asked for different kinds of melee weapons that have, you know, different lunge distances, perhaps different damages, but slower swing speeds and stuff like that for a long time. Could we finally be getting that with Shadowkeep? Maybe. Likely this is just a weird looking sword. We then have a Titan, again decked out in Warmind gear, shooting a very, very spiky rocket launcher. I don't know what this is. This looks different than the Void one we saw earlier, obviously. So maybe this is another exotic rocket launcher, or maybe this is how crazy the legendaries are going to look with this DLC. Then we have a Hunter twirling around with the exotic machine gun that we've seen, and the trailer pretty much ends. The last thing I want to point out is the Digital Deluxe Edition exclusive rewards. We've seen symbols for them, but now we finally see the actual things you get, what they're going to look like in-game. The Erismorn Ghost Shell, the emblem, and the emote. And so guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, learned something new. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at @RickKackis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.